constantly want to stretch your low back and then you feel like it doesn't stay or it doesn't help you as much as it should? Or you just keep doing it because it feels good at the time that you're stretching it, but then you got to keep doing it again and again and again, and it doesn't seem to be getting much better? You're kind of stuck in a perpetual state of needing to stretch. What I'm going to go over in this video is why you kind of want to perpetually stretch, and then 3 exercises that you can start doing today that you kind of replace stretching with. And this will help you gain that stability that your back needs and that it's seeking, while you can keep doing some of your other workouts and your exercises as well. One of the first things that you need to know is, why is it tight? Why is it tight? This is such a hard concept to understand, but once you understand it, then it makes so much more sense. So when a muscle is protecting something, it tightens down. I don't know if you've ever seen somebody with a shoulder injury or with like a hand injury, wrist injury. The thing is that if you have an injury, then you don't want a ton of movement. You're almost scared for the movement. And so what happens in our back is that your brain is scared of too much movement there. It has had some type of pain signals that's come up into it and says we need to protect and stabilize our spine. You only have one of it. It's kind of an important thing. It houses your spinal cord. And so your back locks things down. It tightens up your muscles. It sends signals to say, muscles, stay on. We need to protect this area. And so if something is on and tight to protect something, if we stretch it and force it to be more mobile by stretching it, do you think that it's going to feel that much better afterwards? Or do you think it's going to just re-tighten again because it hasn't realized that it is stable and that it's not fragile and that it can do better? So this is where mechanics of how your body moves and physiology of how your body works kind of come into play. And so if your body is nervous about how your body is moving or how something it has had some pain, then it's going to protect it. What we need to do is support that area. We need to bring in other muscle groups to help work and help make your body feel, oh, this is okay. We can move here and it's not damaging us. I can relax. Now think about that again. Bring in other muscles to support. So then we can convince your brain that the movement in your back is good and that those other muscles can relax. This means that you don't need to stretch, but we do need to do other exercises to support, more so our core to help us with engaging, and then more so our glutes to also help us support our back. The first exercise in this is movement through your back with support. Makes sense, right, of what I just said. So what you're going to be doing first, you're going to be on your hands and knees. You're going to keep your upper back pretty still, and you're going to act like you're just kind of have a tail or a bee stinger off your butt. You're going to point that bee stinger down to the ground, and then you're going to point that bee stinger up. What you don't want to do is full cat-cow here. Our upper back stays still. We are working our pelvis and our lowermost part of our back, not the upper back. The upper back can move some, doesn't need to be completely locked in, but it doesn't need to be doing arching and sagging. It needs to just be still. We're working on our lumbopelvic functions here. If you go to the extremes and they hurt, then don't go that far. As you go in and out of this position of bee stinger down, bee stinger up, or flexing and arching, or flexing and extending your back, then your body will start to release and it'll be like, oh, we don't need to protect against this movement. We can move in it. And it may take you a couple of times to get where you can move in that full range of motion of sag and arch, or bee stinger down, bee stinger up. It's a great exercise to add in, sometimes even 6 or 7 times a day. When you feel like you need to stretch, do this exercise instead. The next exercise adds in a little bit more load to you. It adds in a little bit more stability, adds in a little bit more resistance. This is where we're going from hands and knees, stepping out into a full plank. This works how you stabilize your back, and then it works to help you extend your legs, your hips into that fully open position. So you're going to start on your hands and knees. You're going to kind of tuck your tail into that nice supported position for your back. Then you're going to reach one leg out and the other leg out. Try not to let your back sag down at all. You're going to feel so much more core as you do this type of plank. This is a plank that supports your low back. Probably going to feel your glutes in a little bit more too, and your quads to help you really sustain this. Then you're going to step back in, step back in. You're only going to hold the plank for like 5 to 10 seconds. Because the key is that you relax after you do it and you re-engage, step out, hold, step back in, relax. And so it's working on that on-off cycling and how you're moving to help with the stability of your back. The third exercise goes into even more stability, control, and load. You're going to be doing a reverse lunge here. But this reverse lunge is a little bit different than typical reverse lunges. You're going to be adding in a hip hinge with this reverse lunge. So anytime whenever we are more upright with our trunk and we bend our knees to do a reverse lunge or a squat or any of these other like accessory moves, if we're upright, we're going to use more of our quads. If we hinge forward, then we're going to use more of our glutes. It's just mechanics and how those things go. So you're going to hinge as you do this. So you'll step back into the reverse lunge. Your trunk shifts forward a little bit. You hinge at your hips. Your back stays nice and flat. And then you'll go down to the reverse lunge and you'll come back up and forward. And you'll find that you're driving now your hips up and forward to make this movement happen for you. This makes your glutes work more with your quads, with your core, and also your balance. It kind of combines them all together into that single leg driving. And it also makes your rotational core work even more because it's a one-sided exercise. Again, drop down and then drive back up. I hope that you add these in. Check out some of my workout programs if you're looking for more advice on what to do to help strengthen with the accessory moves that you may need. And they're down in the description below. And I hope that you enjoyed this content. Cheers, y'all.